and thanks for tuning into the NYC Schools Tech podcast. I'm your host, Nancy Ribak Altadonna, and you are listening to episode 4. This episode is part 1 of a special 3-part series about media literacy and digital citizenship. Media Literacy Week will be on November 5th through the 9th. According to the National Association of Media Literacy Education, NAMLE, media literacy is the ability to assess, analyze, evaluate, communicate, and create using all forms of communication. The mission of Media Literacy Week is to highlight the power of media literacy education and its essential role in education today. All students need digital citizenship skills such as media to fully participate in their communities and make smart choices online and in life. Up next is a feature interview with Tali Horowitz, the New York Education Director at Common Sense. Tali's passions include helping educators and families meaningfully harness the power of media and technology with kids. She has worked in a variety of educational settings on both the East and West Coasts. As a classroom teacher, where she started with the New York City DOE, as well as in New Zealand as a Fulbright Fellow. In her free time, she loves face-to-face interactions with friends and family. Here's our interview. Hi, Tali.
Hi.
Welcome to the NYC Schools Tech podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tali works for Common Sense Media. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Common Sense?
We're a national nonprofit organization committed to helping educators and families and students leverage media and technology for learning and for life. We're kind of best known for doing 3 main things. We rate, educate, and advocate. So we rate all forms of media following a child development criteria: movies, TV shows, video games, apps, website, and we also offer a ton of parent advice. Then we have a really robust digital citizenship program, our education program, which I'll be talking about more. And then we also have an advocacy side as well.
And that's why we wanted you to be on this month's program. And Media Literacy Week is November 5th through 9th. Why do students need to learn media literacy and digital citizenship?
We live in an age where information can be shared, it can be created, it can be manipulated. Access to information is ubiquitous. And I think it's really imperative that kids know how to validate information, to be able to find reputable resources so they can be well informed, and really to provide a secure foundation for learning, as well as creating safe spaces for creating and connecting.
Tali, I really like that you mentioned safe spaces. What are the risks if students don't learn how to be media literate and safe digital citizens?
I think there are many different risks. There's certainly physical and emotional safety concerns, as well as risks around not being a well-informed participant in our democracy and having things happen to us instead of by us or with our consent and understanding. There's always tons of examples of damage to reputation in terms of what we post online. You know, this is at this point a little bit dated, but I think about, former Congressman Weiner, of course.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's news today with Brett Kavanaugh, and there's so much information out there, and I think it's really important for everyone, but particularly young people, to be able to form their own opinions, to be looking at who's saying what and why, and to decide what information is most credible.
How does Common Sense partner with families to ensure that students are media literate and digitally responsible? How does Common Sense partner with families, students, and educators?
So we partner with families, with educators, with students in a number of key ways. And kind of the foundation is we really believe in taking a whole community approach, that you really need all caring adults in a young person's life on the same page or at least having access to solid information and resources. We've created lessons and tools for educators to be able to connect with students and their families directly. We have a free kindergarten through 12th grade digital literacy and citizenship curriculum, which provides family resources to accompany each topic area and lesson. These range from tip sheets outlining an issue like the importance of data privacy, for example, to actual activities kids and caregivers can do together. And I should say as well, this K through 12 digital literacy and citizenship curriculum was developed with Howard Gardner and the Good Play Project out of the Harvard School of Education several years ago, and we've now just recently updated it. And we have a really comprehensive scope and sequence that touches on a number of key topic areas like news literacy, looking at fake news, talking about building positive online communities, and what does hate speech look like. Those are just a couple of examples. And then our family engagement resources give information directly to schools to share with parents. So, and of course, when I say parent, that's any caregiver in a child's life. So we provide research-backed resources covering a range of topics. So I mentioned some before, but from online safety and cyberbullying to media balance and learning with technology. And you can easily find and share these articles, videos, printable handouts, kind of anything you need for your classroom or for your school's website or social feed or even at a parent's event. That's all on Common Sense Education. If you go to Common Sense Media, we also have a wealth of parent information there as well. So in addition to finding ratings and reviews of every form of media, so I mentioned that earlier, movies, apps, video games, and more, we also have recommended lists. So for example, best apps to support social emotional growth. And we also offer a huge amount of content via Common Sense Latino. And this is all original parent advice in Spanish.
Common Sense Latino, is it translated into Spanish?
Actually, it's not that it's taken from Common Sense Media and just translated. It's actually original content because we think it's really important to be culturally and linguistically responsive to our various audiences. And obviously, that's a really diverse group. But we do a ton of focus groups and we meet with families of different Spanish-speaking backgrounds.
That's extremely culturally responsive. If you had to pick just one component of media literacy, as a teacher or parent or caregiver, what do you think would be the most important lesson that you would want to teach students in K to 12?
So this is a great question about what's one component of digital citizenship that I find most important. And I'm thinking about this as both an educator and a parent. And I might be cheating a little bit, but I would choose media balance and well-being. That's one of the topic areas from our updated curriculum. And part of the reason I'm choosing that is because I feel like it encompasses so much. So, as we kind of said at the beginning, we live in a world overflowing with digital media and technology and information. And I think all of us, both adults and definitely kids, have constant access to real-time information. And what I like about our media balance and well-being lessons is that I think it gives students a space to really reflect on their own media use, to think about how they're using it to consume and also to create and to think critically, and how digital media affects our various communities and society overall. And so I think that also allows that critical digital literacy piece to enter too. I'm a big fan of our middle school lesson. There's lessons right now that we have. One that I think about is which me should I be on self-identity and kind of the different ways we present ourselves online, and really asks young people to think about what's acceptable and how they're presenting different personas and what's potentially crossing a line for themselves or for others in terms of misrepresentation or fair representation. And I've always liked that lesson, but I think, again, current events are really front and center in my mind and thinking about how we represent ourselves. Or misrepresent ourselves. Another favorite, which I love, is our lesson $1 Trillion Footprint. This is another middle school lesson. It's part of our digital footprint topic area. And in this lesson, students are asked to pretend to be producers for a make-believe reality TV show where they're looking for a host, and they only have to look for really two qualities, someone who is honest and someone who works well with others. And in this whole scenario, they're told that the executive producers have narrowed the search to two candidates, and then they hired a private investigator to find background information on the candidates, and then the students are asked to review both candidates and decide who's the better fit and who really embodies working well with others and is honest. And what I really like about that is it highlights that what's shaping our opinion of others is not just what we ourselves post online, but what others are posting about us. And one of them, one of the characters, or who's trying to be the host, says that she's a fantastic cook and loves to cook these original meals. And she posts something on her Instagram, and one of the comments underneath is, didn't you eat this last week or copy this from someone else? And again, the person who posted it, we don't know if they're reliable, but it has an impact on our evaluation of her. And I think
powerful
that kids get that on some level, but I think this lesson really drives home that, like, wow, there's a lot of forces out there shaping our digital footprint. And I think it's also important for us as educators and parents to remember that it's not just about how our kids present themselves, but it's really, again, that part of being a digital citizen is thinking about the larger implications of our actions. So what I post about you, Nancy, has an impact on you, not just on me.
What is the name of this lesson? I want to go teach it tomorrow.
Oh, that would be great. It's called $1 Trillion Footprint.
$1 Trillion Footprint.
Yeah, and if you go to commonsense.org/education and to the scope and sequence link under digital citizenship, you can filter by either grade band, so 6th through 8, or by topic area. So you could click on digital footprint.
I find as a high school teacher that a lot of the middle school lessons are completely suitable for high school kids. So I have used middle school lessons several times.
And we also, that's another thing that I appreciate about our resources is our scope and sequence is really developmentally scaffolded. So we actually have a very similar lesson for high school called College Bound. Students are asked to pretend to be college admissions officers, and they have to look at two different potential candidates and their applications. Now, I will say College Bound, the high school students are much more positive. In $1 Trillion Footprint, they're both pretty unsavory. So that one might be a little bit more fun from that perspective.
Right.
But they're both kind of driving home the same point.
Great. Thank you so much. Could you share a little bit about your background?
So I am a former classroom teacher. I saw on your bio, Nancy, that you're a former New York City teaching fellow. Mm-hmm. I am as well.
The teachers who are involved and use common sense, write the reviews, and it is very for teachers by teachers.
Available at commonsense.org/education. We rate and review a huge number of ed tech tools, and we have ratings and reviews written by educators and, specifically classroom teachers that we hire and work with, and we have a really robust rubric. And then teacher users can write their own ratings and reviews. So I think of it as Consumer Reports meets Yelp.
The reviews that's digital citizenship in itself, giving people a heads up.
I feel like I'd love to, if it can be included, to give a shout out to the New York City Schools Tech community, because all of our resources were designed to be very turnkey. We have common sense ambassadors, and there's quite a number of New York City DOE teachers who are common sense ambassadors who are going out and leading workshops and sharing this information. I mean, I could name drop quite a bit of all those fantastic teachers, but it really makes such a difference. And that's what I really loved about the schools tech community overall, is just how open and warm and welcoming everyone is, and eager to learn and share and connect with one another.
Supporting students with digital and media literacy instruction isn't just the right thing to do, It's required for New York City public schools. In accordance with federal and state regulations, every school must educate students in grades K through 12 about appropriate online behavior, including responsible use of social networking websites and cyberbullying awareness. To find out about this and all learning opportunities, visit the training tab of our website at schools.nyc.gov/tech. You must log in with NYC DOE email credentials. October is National Bullying Prevention Month. The goal is to encourage communities to work together to stop bullying and cyberbullying by increasing awareness of the prevalence and impact of bullying on all children of all ages. Thanks for listening to episode 4 of the NYC Schools Tech podcast. Tune in to episode 5 featuring Michelle Ciulla Lipkin, the Executive Director of the National Association for Media Literacy Education. I am Nancy Ribak Altadonna, and I'm thrilled to be the host of the NYC Schools Tech podcast, which is here to amplify innovative practices of NYC Schools Tech and inspire others in NYC and beyond. For questions about the NYC Schools Tech podcast, go to our blog. You may also contact me via nycschools.techpodcast@gmail.com. NYC Schools Tech would like to leave you with a final thought. Work hard and be nice. And take care of your eyes and your body. For every 30 minutes that you're looking at a screen, stand up, stretch, and look away for at least 30 seconds. All right, we're just looking out for you.